Try to get this on here right. Good. Got tired of holding that camera. Okay. I want to tell you about one of the characters in my book, Traces of You, Mr. Neverett. He's the owner of the Kroger spot down in Richmond, Virginia. And real funny how I came to meet him. I used to go into his restaurant all the time and just sit down and write. And I would never buy anything, but I would just sit down and write because, I need another place besides home. And that was a real cool place to chill at. And finally, one day, one of the employees told me that I couldn't just sit there and write. I would have to buy anything. So I got a little upset about that, so I decided to boycott the place. So what I did was every Sunday, I would grab my little lawn chair and I would go down there and I would just sit across the street and just write, like every Sunday for like a month and a half. And eventually somebody came outside and was like, hey, come here, Mr. Eggerson wants to talk to you. He's the owner. And so I was talking to him. And I was like, okay, well, let me interview him because, he's a prominent figure of the community and he definitely has a story to tell. And so after I interviewed him, we just got to talking because the questions, they really draw you out. So we got to talking and he had told me that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King had been in this establishment. And I felt like a little kid. I was like, well, did you take pictures of them or something? And he was like, no, they were just regular people back then. So when I started to write my story, I got to thinking, why don't I just show that side of him, that when Martin Luther King came in, that he was just a regular person, they had a regular conversation. So the story kind of starts off with them in the living room, and he's listening to some music, he makes himself a drink, and he sits back and he reminisces. And it goes back to the 60s, and the music in there plays music from the 60s that would have came out. And him and Martin Luther King, they have a conversation. I mean, it's nothing big, just a normal guy walking to the restaurant, having the conversation. And then when he wakes up, his wife is there. So it flashes back. Flashes back forward. And him and his wife, they go into the spill, and he starts talking about his son and how much he loves his son, and his son will bring history to Richmond just like he has. And it shows the love between an entire family unit, the son and the mom. So love to love. Traces of You, Mr. Neverett, owner of the Kroger spot down in Richmond, Virginia. If you're there sometime, please stop by, shake his hand. Rocking out.